Turning a blind eye to building up a retirement pot is a persistently worrying trend, warns the government. So we asked a handful of people to tell us what they're doing about their pension.
Keeping my fingers crossed and buying a lottery ticket.
I have a personal pension which is called a SIP, which means it's invested under my guidance by all sorts of people in all sorts of different places.
I have a company pension, so that's all taken care of for me.
Well, I've not started work yet, but I will be investing my pension as soon as possible, is the plan.
I currently contribute to Metropolitan Police pension plan.
I had an occupational pension and a private pension. I put them all in the hands of my financial advisor, who's, I hope, looking after them for me.
Nest, the National Employment Savings Trust, is a new workplace pension scheme. As its chief executive, Tim Jones is in charge of effecting the biggest change to the way British citizens save for their retirement. Auto-enrolment, the process of opting in staff members to a pension savings scheme on an automatic rather than an elective basis, is set to go live this year. Inside Out has come along to find out more. Which part of pension reform has most motivated you in your role as chief executive of Nest Corporation?
I think it's the thought of making later life better for millions of people. It's a very simple idea, but it's a very powerful idea. There are millions of people sleepwalking towards a very bad place at the moment. They are not doing anything for their later lives. They think they're going to rely on state pension or their house or something, but it's not going to work out well for them. And so being able to do something to address that is very powerful.
How much resistance have you experienced from companies in their providing employees with a qualifying pension scheme?
Well, I think the debate's kind of moved on now. When I started back in 2007, the politics of making these reforms come into law was still going on. And so there was a lively debate about whether this should be happening at all. What we hear from employers now is, OK, so this is happening, the law's happening, some of them like it and see this as a great opportunity, some of them are less attracted to it. But what they want to know is, what do I have to do, when do I have to do it, how do I do it?
We've come along to talk to Richard Stewart, Head of Employee Benefits with Mazars, to find out about the most common misunderstandings companies have about auto-enrolment.
Yes, well, I think large organisations now have a pretty good feel of where they need to be, but in the mid-market, whilst there's a general awareness, most organisations don't know about the detail, their staging dates and what they have to do.
What role do you see private pension providers playing in the auto-enrolment process?
Well, auto-enrolment is about minimum requirements for employers, but many employers already have and are looking at putting in good quality pension schemes ahead of their required dates.
So what are the most common misunderstandings companies have about auto-enrolment?
I think there's sometimes a confusion between auto-enrolment and Nest. We are a scheme that any employer can use, but the automatic enrolment duties that fall on all employers are quite separate from us. And you have to meet, as an employer, those duties. Now, you can use Nest as part of your way of doing that, but you don't have to. And so the first thing we do is to say to employers, you have a new set of duties coming up. They're all about automatically enrolling the bulk, probably, of your workforce into a qualifying scheme. And then there's Nest over here, and we are one of the schemes that you can use. And anybody can use us. That's what makes us unique. But no employer has to use us.
The latest from the DWP, Department of Work and Pensions, reports that 2/3 of people have yet to realise auto-enrolment's coming into their lives. Now that's some communication challenge for Nest Corporation, isn't it?
It's a communication challenge for the reforms in general, but we must remember that the basis of these reforms is that there's a recognition that people generally don't engage with pensions, especially younger people, and that these reforms are therefore designed to work with the employee, the worker, doing absolutely nothing. They do nothing and they find themselves in a workplace pension, compared with today, when often, if you as a worker do nothing, you find yourselves not in a workplace pension.
Opt-out options and salary sacrifices. Are such options helping or hindering Nest's mission in encouraging as many people as possible to fully engage with auto-enrolment? And what role do you see private pension providers playing?
Well, opt-out, the right of workers to opt out of pension saving is a core part of the reforms. It's not specific to Nest. What we've done is to work very hard to make the process of opting out straightforward for workers that find themselves enrolled in Nest. And we also think that we do that in a way that's administratively easy for employers. And we've spent a lot of time on that. Salary sacrifice is an important tool that some employers want to use with their staff. That's independent of these reforms, basically, and you can do that with Nest just as easily as you can do that with another scheme. As far as the role of the private provider is concerned, well, they have a massive role. Remember that Nest is here to fit alongside private provision, not to replace it. And so the private sector will expand and grow into this really very significant new opportunity that automatic enrolment represents. Our job is to work with them, and we are working directly alongside a number of private providers, although we do think that smaller firms, some smaller firms, will want to use Nest as their sole response to the duties.
Tim Jones, Chief Executive Officer of Nest Corporation, thank you very much for talking with us.
Thank you.